Hi, welcome to another junior geometry video. In this video, we turn our attention away from 2D shapes and look at 3D shapes, three-dimensional shapes in the 3D world. Right, let's get started with a couple of definitions. A face is the name for a side of a shape. So here's a cube over here, and we can see a face at the front of the cube. And if I was to colour in a couple more faces, one on the top and one on the other side, I've coloured in 3 faces, but there are 3 more behind the cube, so a cube has 6 faces altogether. Right, an edge. An edge is where 2 faces meet. So here's an edge down the bottom here. It's where this front face meets with the bottom face, right? If I was to show you all edges on the cube, I've basically highlighted all lines to draw the cube. And if you counted them all up, there'd be 12 edges on the cube. Okay, another word is a vertex. We came across that word in the 2D world, but we're going to use it in the 3D world as well. A vertex, if there's more than one, we use the word vertices. A vertex is where 2 or more edges meet. So here's a vertex down here, and it's where this edge and this edge and this edge all come and meet at that point. Basically a point or a corner. If I showed you all vertices on a cube, you'd count all 4 in the bottom, 4 at the top, and there'd be 8 vertices on a cube. Alright, well, while we're at school, we're going to really only talk about 2 main types of 3D shapes. One's called prism and one is called a pyramid. So let's start chatting about a prism. Here's the definition of a prism. A prism is a 3D shape that has 2 identical ends and a cross-section that stays the same along the depth. So let me explain what on earth I meant by that. Here is 2 prisms. Here's 2 prisms. Right, this top prism, the front face has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, so it's called a hexagonal prism. This bottom prism has got a front face which has got 3 sides, which is called a triangular prism. Right, let me just get rid of the front face so you know what I mean by face. That's the front face. Now, if I was to take that front face and extend it along, this bit I'm moving along is called the cross section. The cross section. Anywhere I chop it down the middle, I could look at the cross section. And the cross section stays the same along the entire depth. Right, it stays the same, and when it gets to the end, it's identical to the front face. So that's what we mean by a prism. The cross section stays the same. Right, let's have a look at another prism. Here's another prism. You've seen this prism before. The proper name is a circular prism, but we just call it a cylinder. Now, let me get rid of that. It's a cylinder. I can change the radius. I can change the height of it. But when I bring the cross section back, which is a circle, which is why it's a circular prism, I can bring the circle down. This is the cross section moving down the depth, and it gets to the end and it stays the same and it's identical. So that's the definition of a prism, a cross section that stays the same. Right, the second type of shape is called a pyramid. And here's the definition of a pyramid. A pyramid is a 3D shape that has a base, and all vertices, or all parts of the base, meet up at an apex. Let me show you what I mean by this. Here is a square-based pyramid. Right, I'll show you how it's based. So we have a square. I'll just rotate it around onto its side, different angle, and I took all vertices, all corners of that square, and I raise it up to a point called an apex. So that's a square-based pyramid, square-based pyramid. Let's have a look at another pyramid. This is another pyramid you've come across before. What the base is a circle, and it raises up to a point called the apex. So we could call it a circular pyramid. That's the proper name, circular pyramid, but everybody just calls it a cone. All right, so that's the definition of a pyramid. So the 2 types of shapes are prisms and pyramids. All right, that's us for this video, so thanks so much for tuning in.